So it is here, finally, the rearmament update for Killing Floor 3, and this has taken a whole 3 months to get here, because the game came out on July 24th. It is now October 29th, and this update came out a few days ago, and yesterday I checked it out on stream, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the update. And starting off with the update, we have 3 new weapons. We have the double barrel, we have the EBR, and we have like an AK-47. All 3 of them are really nice weapons. The AK shoots really nice. The double barrel is definitely my favorite. You can turn it into a quad barrel as well and do a lot of damage. And we have the EBR, which is like a, single fire DMR type of weapon. You know what an EBR is. So it's a really nice set of weapons added to the game. And another thing that came with this update is the ability to change your specialist according to what perk you're on. So basically you can play as Foster on Firebug, Medic, Engineer. You can chop and change your character now where you couldn't before. You were set to that character on that perk. So that's it. That's 3 months of waiting. That's pretty much all we got in this update, and it's just massively disappointing. I don't understand what they've been doing. I guess the time it's taken for them to put different specialists on different perks that played that animation out of like putting down the medic zone, using the drone on different characters as well. There's just things like that, like animations. You got to make sure that they're working right. However, it's unrealistic to think that this game would ever be like Killing Floor 2. And I was really positive about this game when it come out. I did a review. I was like, this is a nice Killing Floor game. They've got a nice foundation here. They can definitely make it a lot better. I was just expecting the updates to come out a little bit more frequently, once maybe, big updates like this coming out every month and a half or 2 months, just to really get the game in a nice spot, and then they can start focusing on getting some actual content in the game as well. But, Killing Floor 2, when it came out in beta on Steam all those years ago, felt like it had a lot more about it than what this game does, being a fully launched game with a price on it as well. It's just I can't wrap my head around what they've been doing for 3 months. I really can't. Three weapons and the ability to change your character, and that's it. Obviously, we have a bunch of bug fixes that have come into the game, which is always nice. You do want to get the game in a working state, but these are bug fixes that could be done, every 2 weeks, that introduce, like, just keeping the game topped up with bug fixes. Not to say they haven't been doing hot fixes or bug fixes leading up to this update. They definitely have been doing and adding stuff like that. But, for this, they really hyped this up as like the big rearmament update. It's going to be huge for the game. It really just goes under the radar for a lot of people. It didn't really bring a lot of players back either to the game, and it's understandably why. It's just like, it's so lackluster. It's just so disappointing, because I want to see this game succeed. I want to see it, play really nice and be really fun to play, and it's just not there right now. So they have done a lot of bug fixes. They've done a lot of balance changes as well, which we'll talk about right now. So they obviously nerfed the weapons like the Vulcan. You've nerfed weapons like the grenade launcher. These are the primary weapons that people were using all the time. However, it feels like they have really over-nerfed them to the point where they're not really that great to use. The grenade launcher's fire rate is what really kills that weapon now. It shoots so slow, it just doesn't really feel fun to use anymore. And, I was very against always using the grenade launcher and the Vulcan. I think it's very stupid when you've got all these different weapons in the game. That mostly people were just using those 2 weapons. And, I think the main reason behind that is that the other weapons just weren't really brought up to that kind of level of damage. There was weapons on the medic where like the default SMG made more sense because it was more cost effective to use that with like a slightly less damage than the MP5 on the medic class. So, if you pick the MP5 up on the medic class, it would cost way much more and only do like an extra 5 damage once it was all like fully upgraded. It didn't make any sense really. And that's why a lot of people just like stuck to their grenade launcher on the Vulcan. So obviously they did a big balance change, and again, this is stuff that probably could have just went, tuning as they went, putting in a little bug fix every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks, and then tuning some weapons to, have everything more balanced out, and instead of just dropping it all in this one big update, which just doesn't make any sense. It's it just feels like it was really overhyped for the stuff we actually got into this game. And the annoying thing is with this big update, and this is just things that really should have been in the game at launch. People probably would have expected to be able to change their character and their perk at launch, just have it all fully customizable, because Killing Floor 2 was like that. Why did they expect to launch the game and people weren't immediately gonna be like happy that they can't change their character? Why would they expect people to be happy about that? So they kind of shot themselves in the foot like that. I feel like if they launched the game right now in this current state with these 3 weapons, the ability to change a character on the certain perk, then I definitely would think like, okay, this game, was probably ready to go now, at launch. Halloween as well, it's a new horror game at Halloween. It probably would have been in a much better spot than releasing it in July. It's weird decision making for me. It really is. So, we don't have extended waves still, which is one of the most popular features in Killing Floor 2, going wave 18 plus. I used to love sitting there grinding this game out and actually being able to play for like an hour-long session in the same round. On this one, it's so annoying where you're like, okay, we get to wave 4, and you can finally get the weapon that you've designed, but there's only 2 waves left to use it. Like, it's just so fucking stupid that that's the case. I've sat there, I've crafted the perfect weapon that I want to use, my perfect double barrel that I want to use, but I can't use it until wave 4, and then we only have wave 5 and wave 6 left. Like, that needs to go. That needs fixed immediately. Like, it's one of the biggest flaws in this game, and it wasn't put in this rearmament update. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with me that that's one of the most requested features in this game, and it was probably the most popular feature in Killing Floor 2, having long ass rounds with a lot of extended waves and stuff like that. It gets so tedious and boring just playing 6 waves and only using your weapon twice, like for 2 waves in the game. And then you're sent back to this really annoying headquarters situation where you go to the headquarters and you're basically doing everything in the menu of upgrading your weapons and stuff in any way, and then you have to run over to the VTOL to start another matchmaking. Get that fucking shit out of the game. Like, immediately. Why is it there? We need to go back to an old menu system. And, for 3 months of waiting, this is what I was really expecting in this update. Extended waves, going back to an old menu system, and the stuff they've added. I would have been fucking happy with that. At least, we're going to get Season 2 relatively soon. That is, needs to come out before the end of 2025, according to the roadmap. We're going to get, like, DJ Scully, we're going to get some more new weapons and mods, and we're going to get a new map as well. They haven't really talked about them adding extended waves yet, really, from what I've seen. There was a little survey that what would you prefer to add, and I was like, yeah, we need extended waves immediately, or extended rounds. It's disappointing. It really is. These quality of life changes, if that is the case, they could take them way too long to come out. It needs to be a lot faster to get the game in a much better spot. I feel like this rearmament update didn't bring a lot of the player base back, and going forward, what we really need is those waves. We really need to go back to an old menu system. We need like a server browser so we can jump into games in progress. We need, a better difficulty system as well. It's far too jarring going from hard to hell on earth. It's like such a big fucking leap. And not to say I haven't done hell on earth games. It feels like when I did Hell on Earth, I was really able to do it mostly because of the grenade launcher or the Vulcan. But now, hopefully, the new weapons, and I've tried to play Hell on Earth, but, it still feels like there's not enough people playing it on Hell on Earth, to the point where every time I queue up, I'm getting like 3 or 4 people at most. Like that's our team, 3 or 4 people at most. And, did all these bug fixes, and then I've got a game-breaking bug there where we're playing Hell on Earth, and one of my teammates gets stuck in the execution animation on a Scrake, and then the Scrake's body starts ragdolling around the floor, and, like, we can't kill it, and then, like, we're just stuck, and we have to leave. There's just spending so much time and energy. 3 months, as I say, I'll keep saying it, 3 fucking months just to have 3 new weapons in the game and all these. It says like 700 fixes in the game. There's all these balance changes. Fair enough. But I feel like all that stuff could have been trickled in leading up to this update. I don't know why they wanted to dump it all in this big update and just making it feel so lackluster and just... Yeah, I don't want to be negative about the game because I love Killing Floor, and I'm finding it hard to take any positives from this update other than the weapons. The weapons are great, and you know, the ability to actually pick your own character, like that's the good stuff about the update. But is it really something I can sit here and say, you know what, I understand why this took 3 months? No, it's not at all. You know, this is like simple changes, and while, you know, I'm not a game developer, and that's always the stem of the issue of me ranting about these things. Oh, well, you should go make your own game. You know, I've seen other games do stuff, way more stuff in such short a time with a way less smaller team making stuff. So I just, most of the time with this game, though, it just feels like it's common sense and it's just gone out the fucking window. That's what it feels like. It's like they never played Killing Floor 2. It's like they never made Killing Floor 2, and, you know, that's probably the case because I'm pretty sure a lot of people from Tripwire that made Killing Floor 2 are no longer there, and they probably left to do other things, so this is probably a different team, and it's just missing that. And yeah, I just wanted to make this little negative rant video about the Rearmament update. I'm still going to play the game. I still want to, you know, grind stuff on it. It's, again, I feel like this should have dropped with season 2 maybe, and it would have been way better. You know, we would have had the new supply pass, we would have had the new map, the prison that's coming, we would have had DJ Scully added to the game. You know, we would have just had a lot more stuff to look forward to playing this update. I don't know, this update feels like it should have come out like, I don't know, 2 months ago or a month and a half ago. I don't understand what they've been doing, but yeah, that is my review for Killing Floor 3's Rearmament update. Let me know your thoughts down below on the update itself, if you have tested it out or not. If you agree with any of the points that I've made in this video, you know, and what would you like to see for the future Killing Floor? Like I said, for me, it would be extended rounds. It would definitely be going back to an old menu system, cleaning up the UI a lot. You know, just things like that definitely need to be making its way into the game and making it a bit more intuitive. I hate games that have this headquarters stuff where you're running around and you're like, okay, I just want to jump into the next game. You know, I want to quickly upgrade my weapons and go into the next game. You know, it's stupid, really. Gotta run all the way to this, like, VTOL thing, like, we're, I don't know, going and playing Doom. I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Hit that sub button for more videos like this on this channel as well. I've been Pixel, my awesome viewers. I catch you guys in the next one.